everyone, it's me Jenny, and for today's random vloggy Tuesday movie review thingy today, I'm going to be talking about Age of Ultron. And before I start, this is not going to be a proper review type thing. My quick review is I really enjoyed it and I will be going to see it again. It is one of only two films that have justified me going to the cinema a second time, and the other one was the other Avengers film. So that's my quick review. I really enjoyed it. It's worth a second watch in the cinema for me personally, but that's because I'm a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and as I said before, watching this I watched Agent Carter, I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I caught up on Daredevil all in anticipation for this film, and my quick review is I really enjoyed it and I will see it again. But it's not perfect, but I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I really liked and a couple of things that I have mixed feelings about, and that's going to be my talk for today. So a few things that I really loved about this is, again, the humour and the Joss Whedon sense of fun and sense of life to this film. It's so well handled. You've got such a huge challenge of doing this film, and it's both dark and light, and that's one of the great things about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is it doesn't take itself too seriously, but doesn't stop it from telling really compelling stories with really compelling characters. Another thing which I really loved is the fact that the superheroes are saving people, and it's not just the love interest, it's actually actively superheroes trying to protect populaces of people. They try and do early warning systems, they, create like a lifeboat type thing at the end, no spoilers. And it's brilliant because there's so many films that have just so much needless destruction and like death that's glossed over. Two particular examples that ruined the film for me for many reasons were Transformers Dark Side of the Moon and G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, or whatever the second one was. And both of those films feature, midway through the film, millions of people. Millions upon millions of people dying. And it's not even really thought about in like a serious way, and then at the end you still have your heroes moment where you're meant to be, whooping and celebrating with the heroes, and I spent the entire time, particularly with G.I. Joe, where they blew up London, and I was like, you've just killed millions of people, and it's not even just like a little bit of, a car chase, and you do realise you killed about 10 families through that car chase? No, they blew up London. And I do like the fact that the heroes are taking consideration for these factors and actually actively trying to stop collateral damage, and actually that is something that's so rare and so refreshing. So I really love that. I also loved the line from Mariah Hill, "Where my lady's at," which is perfect because, yes, Joss Whedon is great at writing, female-centric stories, and I'm continuously sad that we don't have more female characters. This had 3 lead female characters, well, 2 lead female characters and 1 background female character, well, 2 background female characters, that being Mariah Hill and the wife, no spoilers. And I really, it's good that they have a good few women, and I like that it's actually physically stated, "Where my women at?" because it's so rare to have enough women, and you have these very high-ranking actresses, Gwyneth Paltrow and Natalie Portman, who couldn't be in this film because honestly we don't need more characters. But it's nice that they were actually referenced, it's nice that they were commented on, it was nice that it was referenced, the fact that they didn't get featured in this film. So that was good. Generally, I just really enjoyed this film. The one thing that I struggle with this film is this film and the other Avengers film is an entire new genre of film. There's no other film franchise that's actually built a cinematic universe that has links to TV series. Yes, there's references, there's reboots, there's flash forwards, flashbacks, sequels, prequels, remakes, redos, spin-offs, films to TV, TV to films, all of those sort of things, adaptations. But this is the first time they've ever actively done a cinematic universe, and that was one of the reasons why The Avengers was so amazing the first time around. The second time around, it's so much more of a challenge because it's not that fresh thing anymore, but you still have to balance the fact that you've got to try and cram a universe into one film with that many characters and still make them compelling. A lot of people have commented that Black Widow was maybe slightly watered down to, oh, I want to have babies but I can't, and I want to fall in love but I can't type character, which I don't think is entirely true. I think it was nice to build from that character. but I feel like, again, we just need slightly more female representation maybe there. And the Jeremy Renner plotline for me felt a little bit similar to the Hans plotline in Frozen, because it was so very much audiences are so perceptive now. When I was watching the first Avengers, I knew which character was going to die. I knew it. I went into the film fully expecting which character to die, and I was 100% right. An audience is so perceptive, they can predict who is the least liked character, who is the character who is most likely to be killed off, so there's an emotional resonance without it really affecting future plotlines. And so because of that, they had to discuss the Hawkeye issue, and they did it in a really good way, but it's such a difficult thing to deal with, where you've got to try and surprise the audience while also still obeying to those cinematic and story-based rules. So you've got to have the death of the person that doesn't really matter, so you have the emotional resonance without actually breaking the story. But you also have to surprise people, and they spent all this time building up this character arc, and then at the last minute switching around, which is great. It's a surprise. It's so impossible to do a better option than what he did. Like, I can't think of a better way of doing that character arc and that way of surprising the audience without doing what he did. I honestly can't. It's amazing that it worked at all, but it feels like Frozen in that it feels like the script and the direction were leading specifically down one direction just to surprise us at the end. And that's just my perception. It's just me who watches way too many movies, sometimes feeling the impact of the script. So I did like his character. I love how they developed him. I do like the fact that they did manage to do something that was nearly impossible to pull off. So many points to Joss Whedon. I will be seeing this film. I love this film. I will buy it on DVD as soon as it's out on DVD, and I will be going to see it in the cinema again. But there we go. The other thing I really, really loved, Paul Bettany, perfect vision, just everything about his presence and his character, like the animation, the fact that he feels like he's from another dimension, even though he's not, like, he's part of the world, and yet he's really so different. And I love the little sparks of humour. I love the references to Jarvis, and yet it's not Jarvis. I love when actors can play multiple characters in the same universe. I freaking hate what happened to Fred in Angel, but the fact that Illyria and Fred are such different characters fascinates me. So I love that Jarvis and Vision are such very, very different characters, but they're still portrayed by the same actor, and that is endlessly fascinating because it's wonderful to see those little quirks that cross character. Anyway, that's my review. I wanted to be brief, but it's not, so this will be late, as always with my videos recently. But there we go. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment down below if you've seen this film. Try and keep it relatively spoiler free. I probably slipped in a couple of spoilers here or there, so I'm sorry. But there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you guys all very soon. Bye guys.